Good afternoon from Jakarta's Soekarno-Hatta International Airport's Terminal 3. Today I'm flying to Kuala Lumpur on KLM's World Business Class on board their Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner. Let's get checked in.
I arrived into Jakarta through Terminal 2 earlier and took the inter-terminal SkyTrain to reach Terminal 3. KLM's check-in counters are located at row D and there was not much queue at the Sky Priority counters.
Check-in was completed in less than 10 minutes and now I'm making my way to Immigration and Security. As mentioned before, Jakarta's Terminal 3 is massive and the walk to immigration takes about at least 10 minutes or so.
After a brisk walk, I arrived at the International Departures Gate, beyond which was immigration. Immigration and security were completed in less than 10 minutes and now it was time to head to the lounge. Terminal 3 has a wide variety of retail outlets and duty-free stores along with cafes and restaurants on the airside. You can easily spend a couple of hours here while you wait for boarding.
The Plaza Premium Lounge is located between gates 6 and 7 and is roughly about a 7 to 8 minute walk after you clear security.
Here we are at the Sapphire Plaza Premium Lounge, my pit stop for the next couple of hours. The foyer with its dark wood paneling looks classy and inviting. The decor carries on inside where you can find a dedicated section for first class passengers on the right and the main section up ahead. The lounge itself consists of a large hall with seating in the center and aisles on either sides.
Welcome to the Sapphire Plaza Premium Lounge. This is the designated lounge for KLM's premium passengers at Jakarta. Back in the day, KLM used to use Garuda's flagship lounge here, but that lounge is undergoing renovation, so they're using the shared lounge instead.
As for the offerings, the lounge has a separate section for sodas, soft drinks, tea and coffee. There's a hot food section with a live kitchen and a salad bar next to it. There's a separate enclave for Singapore Airlines with its own branding and reception. Nice. There's more hot food stations as we walk around and one of the options was biryani. Yummy. My favorite section was of course the bar, which served Carlsberg on tap.
Thank you. Alright, after a couple of hours at the lounge and a couple of beers later, it's time to head to the gate. Our flight to Kuala Lumpur today departs from gate 1D, which is about a 5 to 10 minute walk from the lounge.
The gate is located at the extreme end of the terminal, which as you can see is nowhere in sight right now. After a fair bit of walking, you go through this under construction renovation part of the terminal and then emerge into another busy section. As I reached my gate, I noticed that boarding was yet to begin and there were long queues already. Boarding commenced a few minutes later and after the boarding pass scan, you enter another subsection of the terminal which houses 4 gates, 1A through 1D. After a couple more minutes of walking, you arrive at the aero bridge and finally get to see your aircraft. Taking me to Kuala Lumpur today is a 6-year-old Boeing 787-9 Dreamliner. I'm seated in 2A today, which is a port-side window seat. I have flown on KLM's Dreamliners before, so immediately there is a sense of familiarity about the seat.
Hello from seat 2A on board this KLM 787-9 Dreamliner. Our flight time today to Kuala Lumpur is going to be an hour and 40 minutes. The business class cabin is almost empty, not too many people on this sector.
KLM's friendly onboard service began with the crew offering pre-departure champagne and handing out menus. Let's take a look at the menu on this flight. We will have a dinner service with 2 choices of mains, an appetizer and dessert. The drink menu consists of a variety of spirits, beers, port wines and non-alcoholic drinks. There is a separate wine menu as well with a couple of options each of red and white wines. In front of me is this 18-inch IFE screen which looked bright and high resolution. At the outset, the screen showed the seat number, our destination, along with some highlights of our destination, Kuala Lumpur. We pushed back around 20 odd minutes behind schedule and the nicely made KLM safety video was presented on the IFE screen.
While we are in the middle of this authentic Royal Delft pottery, we would like to explain the safety information on board your KLM flight through the fine art of Delft Blue. For your safety, make sure your carry-on luggage is stowed before taxi, takeoff and landing.
We began our taxi out of Terminal 3 and went past Terminal 2 where I had arrived a few hours earlier. After a 10-minute taxi run, we lined up on runway 07 left for takeoff. Enjoy the takeoff roll. Okay, let's do a full seat review now. My window seat is actually angled towards the window as you can see. The seat reclines into a full flat bed and there is a deep footwell which is not too cramped unlike certain other carriers. The IFE screen that you saw earlier is actually folded away into its housing and can be released with great difficulty by pressing this button. Don't go anywhere close to the screen while doing so, else you will get smacked in the face. The screen can be swiveled up and down, which is great for when you're in a full lie-flat position and can be stored away into its housing like so. On the left, there is a counter space along with buttons for lighting and seat control. Next to this is the IFE remote and a magnetic headphone connector. There's also a small storage cabinet that has a vanity mirror inside and a rack for the provided headphones. There's also plenty of space inside for your phone, wallet and other personal belongings. Next to the IFE remote is an LED reading light as well. Let's take a look at the tray table, which can be released with the push of a button and folds out like this. It is decently sturdy and can be easily moved around and stored back into its place like this. On the right is a pop-up armrest which can be released by pushing this blue button. The seat is surrounded by a wraparound shell which provides little privacy but served as a good headrest.
So it's been about 15 minutes since we've taken off from Jakarta and we have about an hour and a half to go before our landing into Kuala Lumpur. Let's explore the IFE on this aircraft.
As mentioned before, the 18-inch IFE screen is bright and is extremely responsive to touch inputs. KLM's IFE home screen is nothing fancy and consists of large blocks of images that serve as thumbnails for the content. There's a good selection of movies with the latest movies on top that you can scroll through easily. There's also a blockbusters section where you can select a movie based on the year it was released, which is quite unique, I would say. The TV section again has plenty of content with new releases and a cool binge watching section along with shows across different genres. There's also an audio selection which has a variety of music along with entire albums for you to listen. As an AV geek, you have the My Flight section from where you bring up the in-flight maps. As you wait for the map to load, do note how the remote controller screen essentially mirrors the IFE system, allowing you to control the main screen without exerting yourself. The Flight Path 3D system has loaded up and tells me that we have just under an hour and a half remaining on this flight. The system shows you your current position on the Earth and you can zoom in to see which cities you are currently flying over. You can also freely move across the map and zoom in to say your destination. For the more statistically inclined, there's also this section that shows you everything in numbers, both in metric and imperial units. KLM provides these wired over-the-ear active noise cancellation headphones in business class. At the end of the cable is a magnetic connector which easily snaps into its counterpart on the side wall. The headphones, although bulky, fit quite well over my head and have a snug fit over the ears. Next up, food. Dinner is served on this 2-hour flight to KL and I had opted for the gnocchi with fresh prawns, which was served with a tuna tatami appetizer and a mango tart for dessert. The presentation was nothing fancy, simple and elegant, and all served on a single tray. The gnocchi felt soft and juicy as I scooped it up, not undercooked or burned. The meal was fresh and tasted quite nice.
The meal quality on this flight is pretty good as is expected of KLM. And my drink tonight is the very high fashion cocktail. Cheers.
As per tradition, the crew offered a post-meal chocolate which was shaped like Station Valkenburg, the oldest railway station building in the Netherlands. I decided to try out the IFE system and chose Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny as my movie for the evening. As you can see, the screen is responsive and the content loads up quickly. The resolution and contrast on the screen is outstanding, and paired with the provided noise-cancelling headphones, it's an absolute treat to watch a movie.
Alright, so we've just commenced our descent into Kuala Lumpur, so before I forget, let's do a quick clue review.
The lav on this aircraft is a standard 787 Dreamliner type with a touch-free flush button. It was well stocked with face mist, hand gel and moisturizing hand lotion. There's limited counter space next to the sink, above which there's a large full-width mirror. As a parting gift, KLM hands out these miniature Delft Blue houses, and I chose house number 105, the latest one that was released earlier this month. We soon commenced our descent into Kuala Lumpur, and as we fly over the bright lights of KL, let me summarize my KLM business class experience. KLM is one of the best Western European airlines. The crew are super friendly, the onboard service is warm, and small gestures like the miniature Delft Blue houses make it extra special. The food was good and the 787 Dreamliner business class seats are a definite upgrade over the 777 seats. In my last 6 or 7 years of flying on KLM, I'm yet to have a disappointing flight with them. We soon came in to land on runway 14 left at Kuala Lumpur International Airport. KL's humidity meant that the windows were totally fogged up as we docked at our gate, and the cabin was still kept dark.
Thank you, bye-bye.
Our docking gate at KLI's satellite terminal meant that I had a very short walk to gate C5, where I would board a bus to take me to the main arrival terminal.
Welcome to Kuala Lumpur International Airport. We've had an on-time arrival and it was an amazing flight as always on KLM. Hope you enjoyed this flight with me.